In the entire series of Sisterwives, one of the most scandalous topics of lore has been centered around the legal divorce of Meri and Kody. So that, of course, he could marry on her own, had this grand idea, this grand plan to go behind everyone's back and file for divorce. However, looking back at what I'm about to show you, there are so many red flags that to me point to the contrary. I've had so many of you comment and say something along the lines of, for me, it was all downhill when he decided to divorce Meri to legally marry Robin. We are not the only ones who felt that way. One of the first to give their displeasure in the idea of the legal divorce was our OG legend, Janelle.
Well, I worry that it changes the dynamic.
Right. Well, I'm not going to leave. We're not riding off in the sunset.
Riding off into the sunset? Is that fitting that years later, he would wear that very ring? A horse basically trotting off into the metaphorical sunset. A ring that would replace his Claddagh ring that symbolized his marriage to his 4 wives. The symbolism, intentional or not, is astonishing. And that is just the beginning. Hey guys, it's your girl IQ, and today we are discussing, dissecting, analyzing one of the most scandalous Sisterwives lore, who and what was behind the legal divorce between Meri and Kody, because there is a lot to go over. And once I show you it all, I want to show you how I believe that there is way more to the story than has been shown.
I'm not gonna lie, I was angry at you.
This happened. I'm not in any way doubting that I was somewhat a catalyst in making this happen with Mom.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was.
So on this video, we're going to rewind the clocks and look into it all from the beginning. We're going back in time to see the lead up to the fallout from the divorce and all of the ramifications afterward that show so much more to the story. I'm pointing out, so let's get into this divorce scandal. A long time ago, Meri was filmed walking into her lawyer's office to get some answers.
So I'm coming to see Ron today because I want to get some details before I approach Kody and Robin with this.
Now look at how Meri immediately looks up and to the right. Did you see her body language? According to body language experts, typically looking at the right signifies lying. This is because we tend to look to the right when we're imagining things. And you know what? I believe it. I believe that Meri is imagining this is how things should appear to the public, because do you know the optics? How bad it would have looked if Kody had been involved in any way with asking these questions with Meri at a lawyer's office?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to take this. I'll be honest, I don't expect them to take it well.
By the way, that is Kody talking about how Janelle and Christine wouldn't take it well with just Meri saying this is completely her own idea, and Meri telling them on her own. Still the resistance. So the codester is fully aware that it would have been a calamity for this to have been done with his involvement. So, okay, back to the office, and she seems reluctant. She seems hesitant. It really seems like something she doesn't even want to do.
So,
Okay.
all right.
You're happy about that decision?
Yeah.
Look at her quick and deep sigh here. Almost like a negative emotion being released. For me, it kind of reminds me of something that you would really never want to do. Like for me, it's give a speech. So it's like, you have to pump yourself up before you do it. Are you ready to do this? I would be like, okay, deep sigh. Okay, we got this. Let's do this. I guess I have to. Let's go. So according to body language experts, your breathing tends to pick up when you're under stress. And this stress can be positive or negative. So someone breathing quickly may be anxious or nervous or worried, And look at the look on her face here. The bird that ate the canary. Kody called her out on her tics, and she's done it before.
You have a look on your face like you know the whole world, but you're not going to say something.
What?
You look like the bird that ate the mouse. Tone in her voice says it all, doesn't it?
No, I really don't know what you're talking about.
I know Meri's tics. I know her. She's leaking emotionally. And I recognize it after all these years. It drives me nuts normally, but now I'm like looking forward to sort of be supportive.
And are you ready for the kicker? I'm telling you guys these little nuggets because it really makes you question everything. On face value, Meri says something that seems pretty low key.
I did not think that we would ever be qualified for adoption because it's such a questionable choice of how to organize your family.
I really think this is a smoking gun, you guys. Let me ask you a question. When you think that something is never a possibility, is that when you would have this grand idea to go on your own, by the way, to find out more about an impossibility and have it filmed with a reality TV crew before you know the answer? I mean, even if I'm being honest with myself, the answer could be sure, but it's more likely possible than probable. The more common sense answer here is that someone, and I think we know who, already found out that this was possible, and then he had Meri broach the subject. I'm telling you, really analyzing Meri's words, I really do feel like the truth comes out in very subtle and not so subtle ways. You know what I found interesting? The very first scene, even before Meri goes into her lawyer, this is when she's getting ready to go meet the lawyer. Right before the drive to her office, Meri gets ready. She's grabbing her keys, about to go out the door, and she tells the camera crew what she's about to do. And listen to what she says very closely.
I have an appointment with a lawyer that I'm heading out to right now. It's kind of a serious issue that's going to affect the family.
It's kind of a serious issue that's going to affect the family. That sounds pretty definitive. So if you really didn't know the outcome, wouldn't you say it may affect the family, it might affect the family? It seems like what Meri's saying is 100% set in stone already, even before this is going to happen. And Meri even shrugs her shoulders like, oh, well, yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to affect the family, but it needs to be done. Do you guys also see the finality in her statement? It's almost as if she already knew the answer and was just going to film with the lawyers for the purposes of continuing a narrative that she is doing this all by her lonesome. Okay, so Meri got her answers, even though it sounds like she kind of already knew that this was possible and she's going to affect the family for sure, even though Meri supposedly, allegedly, never in a million years thought that this was possible. But even before she goes to the lawyer this time, with cameras, she was certain. So the answer is that in order to legally adopt Robyn's kids, the best course of action is to marry Robyn legally.
Hello? Hey. Are you busy? Can you come over here for a second?
Now, hold on a second. Before we get to the part where Kody and Robyn come into the picture, when Meri supposedly tells Kody for the first time all the news, which I call bullshit, we will get to that in a second. But first, I think it's really important to lay the groundwork as far as establish just exactly how Kody and Meri's relationship was prior to this whole legal divorce revelation. It's time to take a look back into the Meri and Kody pre-divorce relationship status. So I think it's super important to know just exactly what we know about their relationship right before the idea to legally divorce Meri was brought to the surface. For starters, the idea about the divorce at least being brought up on the show happened 4 years after Robin and Kody were spiritually married.
Did the physicality go out?
It's, I don't know, maybe a decade.
A decade ago?
Yeah.
This tell-all was filmed in September of 2022, which means that Meri talking about not being intimate for 10 plus years would place Meri's intimacy with Kody completely stopping less than 2 years after he married Robin. So what this means is that it took 2 years after Robin entered the family that Kody stopped being intimate with Meri, and it would be another 2 years after no intimacy that the legal divorce was brought up on this episode. So basically, if we're analyzing the health of Meri and Kody's relationship, not being intimate for 2 years before asking for the legal divorce is not by any means the definition of a functional, healthy, budding marriage. In fact, it's the opposite. There were serious issues. And to really drill down this point, Meri discussed in her book how things were really not at a good point in their relationship right before Robin came into the family. She wrote, "Since things were rocky between Kody and me, it was a little unusual to consider bringing a new wife into the picture, especially given that I had never, ever thought that Robin would solve my problems with Kody. I just felt drawn to her in a way that satisfied me. I wanted her as a friend, and I had a clear vision of her in our lives. Janelle and Christine had not yet met her, so this little relationship between Kody, Robin, and me felt special. Kody and I began to talk about her between ourselves. It didn't seem necessary to bring up the subject of Robin to the rest of the family until it was more apparent that there might be a potential for courtship. So she became a little connection that Kody and I shared, a sweet, special bond in a time of turmoil between us." So remember this, you guys. Things were really rocky between Meri and Kody, and according to Meri, they were still intimate at this time. Not only that, Meri seems to really like sharing moments with Kody and having things that only he and her know about. That trust between them really seems to be her love language. Special. Now, I think you guys know where I might be going with this, but hold that thought, because now we go to the moment where Meri phoned Robin and Kody to tell them the news. Now, you need to watch when Meri calls Robin and Kody over to tell them about the legal divorce. And there are two really important things that I want you guys to watch. The first, we know that at this point in their relationship, Kody and Meri's relationship was in trouble. So with that in mind, watch his body language. Kody is completely and fully engaged in what Meri has to say. He's completely leaned in. He's holding on to every word. And here's my question. When has Kody ever, especially from this point in time and on, when has he ever been that interested in what Meri has to say? Not like this. For the most part, here's what we've seen for years.
So is all right if I sit here where your book is?
Yes.
I don't want to sit in the middle.
I just wanted to sit in here.
This is something Kody had wanted forever, and I truly think he knew it and was excited. Not only that, but when Christine and Janelle were called over in the same way that Meri had news, they thought that it could be one of two things.
I was thinking either
Kody already knew the answer to number 2. She couldn't be pregnant because even back then they were not intimate. So would he really be that eager with her going back to school? I think not. And then here comes the second part. Meri's actions when she talks about meeting with the lawyer. Notice how she avoided looking at Kody.
I was talking to him about get married and then try to adopt the kids.
Remember where Kody's sitting in relation to Meri. And Meri's only looking at Robin, as though she wants to avoid eye contact with Kody, as though she is internally angry about having to make the sacrifice. It seems like she is mustering up all the strength in her body to utter these words out loud. No eye contact with Kody whatsoever. And even look at her pointing.
So that you guys can get married and then try to adopt the kids.
To me, that was so defiant too. Now, there has been speculation as far as if Robin and Kody were in on it. And I know it's a popular theory that Robin was involved, but in my opinion, I think this was a secret that Meri and Kody kept together. Kind of like their original little secret between her and him, which is something that she loves anyway. So to me, Robin genuinely looked shocked here, but Kody, I don't know, give the man an Oscar.
And the Oscar goes to.
And the Oscar goes to.
His reaction just was not believable to me.
It's just something I've been thinking about for a long, long time.
What do you mean it's something that you've been thinking about for a long, long time? You just told us a few minutes ago that you didn't think they would ever be qualified for adoption because it's such a questionable choice and how to organize your family.
I did not think that we would ever be qualified for adoption because it's such a questionable choice of how to organize your family.
You thought it was never a possibility. So what is there to think about for a long, long time? Am I sensing a fib here? To save face? To please Kody? So then Kody asks, do you promise that nothing is going to change for us? Which takes Meri back for a second. I think the most interesting part is what I believe to be coded language that seems oh so obvious directed at Kody.
Right, it is a bit scary, I promise you.
Language there. I feel like she's letting Kody know, yeah, dude, I should know it's scary and it's something that you asked me to do, dingbat. Yeah, it's scary. Anyone else agree with me? Now it's time to talk about the plan because even though Kody never knew about it before, this still somehow and magically falls into his plan that he needs to win this
Relationship. With Meri offering this up, we're actually able to start that process. Here we go. Now I can actually punch. Now I've got my hands free to fight for him.
So now Kody actually has his hands free and now he can punch. Of course, this has nothing to do with Kody's influence. No, not at all. So Kody still wants to stay completely out of it. And it's just a coincidence that this whole thing looks super shady. I mean, Kody did predict that when they notified the other wives, Christine and Janelle, that it would not go well. And there is no way Kody wanted to be involved in any of that mess. He didn't want any of that stink on him because I bet he knew that the pushback would have been far worse if he had been involved.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to take this. I'll be honest, I don't expect them to take it well.
So Meri invites all the wives over to tell them the news. Christine takes it super well. And then there's Janelle, who sits there. She's super reserved. She's quiet. She is soaking in everything.
I'm not going to comment on it. That's all I'm going to say. It's about the taxes. This change, the divorce, and will things be the same for me?
Even though she doesn't say it right here, her gut is telling her that something is wrong, that something is not right. She doesn't say it to the group, but later on when she's talking to Kody about it, the extent of her feelings and her concerns were known.
Well, I worry that it changes the dynamic.
The dynamic, I don't think changes at all.
He can't have a favorite. He has to grow beyond his normal selfish capacity and be able to love all of these women in their own way and give them adequate time and connection.
Something just didn't seem to add up, not just with Janelle, but also with a lot of us viewers who were watching from home. And this is where things really took a turn for the worse. Meri claims that she wasn't feeling good that day, but she just, look at her body language.
Physically, I'm not feeling super well.
Holy cow, that's, you want a big hug?
She's kind of standoffish, and I think she is secretly resenting that she has to do this. The resentment is starting to build and grow from this moment. But like we talked about before, maybe Meri thought that this would once again be a little secret for her and Kody to share, to make them grow closer. Maybe he convinced her that she was the most dutiful wife, making all of these sacrifices, which is why he would love her again. Maybe this was her redemption. This was something that she thought she could do to get back in his good graces, to improve their relationship. And I also want to throw this out there. I think most of us find Kody Brown to be an epic master manipulator. And I also just want to point out, maybe there were multiple reasons that Kody may have wanted to push Meri out. I do genuinely believe that he did want to adopt Robin's kids. I'm not saying he didn't, but I do believe that Meri, as his wife, that, I don't know, if things had already been going bad for 2 years that we know about, there was no intimacy, I'm assuming that Kody considered that maybe Meri could leave at any time. And you guys have to remember that during this point in time, this was the first time that the Browns had owned so much real estate at once. We're talking about they had recently just purchased 4 homes. That was legally 50% Meri's. If she did decide to leave at any time, that would be hers. And not only that, just having that legal weight alone held a lot of power, especially in that family and especially with Kody. So look at how upset Meri is. Once again, she can barely look at Kody. And I want you to pay attention to what they are wearing, to their demeanor, to all of it, because it's going to come up a little later. Just wait. So the paperwork is signed, and it's going to take a couple of weeks for everything to be finalized. And when it is, Meri gets the notification by email, and guess who she calls and doesn't call?
So it's been about 2 weeks since we went in and signed the divorce papers, and they sent me a document saying that my divorce is final. It is the final decree of divorce. I kind of chuckle at the part that says it's dissolved, set aside, and forever held for naught.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Are you busy? Can you come over here for a second? I actually decided to bring Robin in first and tell her.
Pretty telling, right?
Meri just got her email. Basically, the divorce was final. Okay, I love you. We're still married. Let's move on.
Process 1 is done. Process 2.
Just a matter of how to go about that, I guess.
Process 1 was getting a legal divorce for Meri, and then process 2 is getting a legal marriage with Robin.
And here is where I believe things started to go downhill for Meri, because I really think that she was expecting that this sacrifice would make her relationship to Kody even closer, but it actually had the exact opposite effect almost immediately. And where did it show up? It started when Meri, Kody, and Robin initially discussed going to the court and doing this as a team.
Kody, I think that we need to have a conversation with Meri. Meri and you and I need to talk about our next step in our big plan.
Well, once the divorce is finalized, then we have to go to the marriage license.
I'm not positive I want to know when you guys do that.
Why not, Meri? We've been doing this entire thing as a team.
This is about them. This isn't about Kody and I. This is about
Do this whole team thing and not like be caught up in the emotions of it.
Initially, Meri was reluctant. She thought it would be too hard for her and that it was something she didn't want to know about. Then she thought about it after a while and was really on board with the 3 of them doing it together. She liked that it was a group concept, probably how it was before, something a little like the 3 of them that they could do together. And in that moment, that choice was taken away from her.
Well, Meri and I were just saying upstairs that she's actually feeling good about the idea of being there.
Just thinking about it, and how we've just kind of gone into this more as a team, I guess.
Mhm.
It's easier to think.
Robin and Meri tried their hardest to convince Kody that he was making the wrong decision, but Kody was pretty much resolute in his decision.
Last discussion outside, you were thinking more to have me there as like a witness, like Robin was there with us.
But I have another thought. We've been married. We've had a marriage.
Right.
We had a celebration about that marriage.
Right.
I'm almost thinking that because it's just a formality, get it done. I'm sorry. No pomp, no circumstance, no nothing.
I want to be there. I want to be involved. I want to be part of the team. I want to feel like that they want me as part of the team. Now that Kody's feeling that I shouldn't be there, it's disappointing to me.
So here's the thing. Kody had been so accommodating to Meri and her feelings before the divorce. When she actually had power to leave and take 50% of everything. Isn't it odd what power, or lack thereof, can do in the eyes of Kody Brown? Isn't it fascinating how now that Meri essentially has zero power, how easy it is to cast aside her wants and do exactly what he wants only?
I'm pretty amazed by your effort to help us structure our family the way we need to. I'm really impressed. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be married to you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How shocking! But yet again, we are talking about Kody. Can we expect anything less? And to me, this next admission from Kody is so extremely, completely fascinating to me.
As Meri and I in our relationship often do, she argues one point, I argue the other point, and our paradigm switches. We change our mind.
Is this a tacit admission that maybe, I don't know, is kind of how the whole legal divorce business even happened in the first place? Because Meri herself said it was something she never thought was fathomable. So was there a time that she wasn't on board, but then somehow Kody convinced her to be on board? I mean, the man did say they always have that pattern.
I did not think that we would ever be qualified for adoption because it's such a questionable choice of how to organize your family.
Kody wanted to make it clear to the rest of the wives and the world that his new marriage date was just that, a date they didn't want to remember, that this would be anything but special. And it was a necessary step in order for the children to be adopted. That was it, just a formality. So then, please, tell me why it felt like anything but that. On December 11th, 2014, Robin and Kody walked into the downtown Las Vegas government building and were legally married. Now, remember, Kody didn't want this to be special at all. It was just another formality. So tell me why it felt like anything but. Now, I told you we were going to reference the clothing and attire that everyone wore to the divorce signing. Now, just reference that with the looks from the day of their marriage. Kody with his slick back hair and a ponytail like he straight up was inspired by Beauty and the Beast.
It seems kind of strange to me because I feel like I'm flying over this and I'm not honoring it the way I need to. We're kind of like eloping.
And yeah, Kody, you are basically eloping. And even if you were saying nobody's seeing it, that nobody needs to know, guess what, dude? Just as we are seeing it, the whole world is seeing it, and eventually all of your wives have seen it.
To me, it's like a business meeting or something. They're just going, they're going to do the paperwork. It's not meant to be a celebration. It's not meant to be anything.
Hi. Do you know how to get here? Hi. I didn't really think you'd stand me up, but I was like, what's taking us so long? Hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I feel kind of strange.
Meri was the one that started this whole thing.
All right.
for the kids.
We're kind of like eloping.
All right, let's go then.
And if I were Meri and I just saw how giddy you and Robin were about this moment, and I made this massive sacrifice and you didn't include me, I would be pissed. I would be hurt and I would feel left out. Look, Robin even got her nails done. She went shopping. Kody's dressed up. It's so weird. He really seems to like that slick back hairstyle for formal wedding occasions these days. And I don't care what you guys say. I'm telling you, the next little tender moment, I get it. They need to make it about the kids in order not to hurt Meri or any of the other wives. But it's so obvious to me, and probably a lot of you, this is more than just a conversation about the kids.
Congratulations. We can adopt the kids. Awesome, huh?
How do you feel about that?
I feel really good about that. That's really special. That's really sweet. How is it for you?
Awesome.
You're not fooling anyone, you guys. No wonder Kody didn't want Meri there. This ended up being a very special day. And eloping, it was emotional. It was a special day. So as Kody and Robin literally get to ride off into the sunset, I really think this is where Meri thought, okay, I made this great big old sacrifice and now I get to experience this new closeness, a new level of deeper relationship with Kody, a deeper level of respect maybe a different standing in the family. But as we all know, that never happened. And believe it or not, their relationship got even worse. Basically, right after the paperwork was signed.
That you didn't want to be out of the family. You just wanted out of your relationship with me.
I'm not gonna lie. I was angry at you.
You know what was really a telling admission from Meri very early on in the show? She explained how when a wife is angry with Kody, how it really does affect her relationship with the other wives and the rest of the family. And for Meri, she knows herself and she knows her behavior and what she usually does in situations like these.
It's when mine and his relationship is better. Mine and their relationship is better. Because seriously,
it's true.
seriously, when I'm mad at him or when he and I are having issues, I detach from everybody and everything, including them, and I don't want to really have anything to do with the family.
Talk about not wanting to have anything to do with the family. Talk about being withdrawn and keeping to herself. The family started to notice that Meri was doing exactly that. Meri was changing.
Her pulling back from the family was very difficult for us.
Let's just look at the dates here because it's super important. But as I mentioned before, Robin and Kody were legally married in December 11th, 2014, basically 20 days or so before the beginning of 2015. So do you guys realize, and here's what's important. I didn't even realize this until I was going through the dates. Do you guys realize that it would only take 3 months? 3 months from the date of their divorce from Meri to feel so broken, so alone, and so dejected that that's all it took for her to let the infamous catfish into her life. Because in March 2015, 3 months, you guys, in came the catfish. So in the fallout from the catfish, you guys can tell the way that Meri speaks, the way that Kody speaks, that a lot was going on with them at the time.
That I was not happy here in the family and that I wasn't being treated right. Like he was questioning me on why are you even there? You're not treated right. You know, you don't have sole focus on you. I mean, you're just kind of one in a group of, you know, I mean,
We
there's
hear that a
nothing-
lot, the one of the many.
What is not clear is the exact time frame of this. Probably because Meri did feel tricked by the whole thing. Probably had regrets, feelings of remorse, resentment, and probably mourning the loss of her legal marriage. Things got even worse for Meri. And even Kody was pretty distant.
Cared.
And it turned out to be extremely exploitative and abusive. And from that experience, Meri and I sort of saw our marriage just dissolve. The struggle I think that I have with it is that I got shut out because of them.
So what he's referring to is about 5 years ago, he was more distant than I wanted him to be. At night, I just wanted him to put his arm around me. And I couldn't sleep because I felt the coldness coming from him. At the same time, I couldn't sleep because of this outside situation. I said to him, can you just not stay here for a while? Can we just take a break for a minute? He took it as go away and don't ever come back, because that's what he's done.
Kody thought that Meri still wanted to be in the family, but wanted nothing to do with him. So why would he think that? Why would he think that Meri was angry with him? Well, even though we never got a direct answer, I think this answer is the closest thing that we're going to get. It happened when Kody was talking to his child about the catfish fallout and how the blame should not solely be placed on Meri.
I'm sorry that this happened. I'm not in any way doubting that I was somewhat a catalyst in making this happen with Mom.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was.
So Kody admitting that he was the catalyst for this catfishing situation is so interesting.
And that her and I were doing so poorly. She got lonely. She started to just make friends. Meri is culpable on a level, but because of what's happened, we're all somewhat culpable. I'm culpable. Mom and I got so bad about the past that we finally got so angry. We were just we're just machine gunning each other with what you did to me, what you did to me, what you did to me. We're in a relationship and we failed to ever protect it. We failed to protect our relationship. We failed to make it special. And finally, it was like, oh my goodness, this is every conversation we have. And you just get to a point where that's so bad, you're just going to say goodbye to each other forever.
Is it possible that the what you did to me could also include being tricked into the divorce? I mean, I'm just saying.
I was just interpreting this way, that you didn't want to be out of the family. You just wanted out of your relationship with me.
There were times that I was angry at you, Kody. I'm not gonna lie. I was angry at you.
There is so much more to this scandal, and I'm sure you guys have even more questions about the catfishing situation. If you want to know who, what, where, when, why, all the sort of details, the voicemails, the photos, all of it, you need to watch my catfishing deep dive. So go ahead, click here. Also, honestly, there are so many deep dives on my channel. I will include some of them here. There's Sisterwives related. There's non-Sisterwives related. You're going to have a blast perusing through them all. So I'm going to put some of them here. Go also to my description page. And please don't forget to check out all of the good content on my channel. I will meet you over on the next video. There is still so much to go over.